welcome to Camaro Mods channel. Hope everybody's having a great day. Okay, today we're going to put the tune on the car. We're going to put it in the sports mode. And we're going to add all of our mods that we put on the car. Jacfab Ported intake manifold. And the Rotofab cold air intake. And 80mm throttle body. Add all that in here, put it on the tune. And then we're going to make some runs, and we're going to see how we're going to do. This thing is so cool. This is the VP16. It's the Volo Performance Incorporated. This is a tuner. It has a dyno built into it. So this thing is really cool. I mean, it'll even read your codes if you want it to. So this is the Volo VP16 programmer. Like I say, the main reason why I bought it was for the dyno. So I'm over 100 miles away from any dyno, so this thing, after about 3 or 4 passes, it's going to pay for itself. Because dyno time is expensive. I'm not saying I'm never going to put my car on a dyno, but someday, when I get everything done on it, I will. We'll see what kind of numbers I get. So we'll go over here to the car real quick, and I'll show you the performance parts that we're testing. Okay, this is what we're testing today. Testing the Jacfab Ported intake manifold, 80mm throttle body, and the Rotofab cold air intake. We're not going to do nitrous today. That'll be another day, but all this top end part, we'll get all that tested today and see how many horsepower we gain. So we still have all the exhaust to do. We're going to do that next spring. That'll open it up some more. So we still got a few more things we can do to this engine to get a few more horsepower out of it. Okay, this is the Jacfab Ported intake manifold. This is the 80mm throttle body. You can also get these from Jacfab, or you can get them from Wheel Overkill on these 80mm throttle bodies. You got to have this spacer plate right here too, in order for it to mate with the ported intake manifold, so your bolts will be lined up right. But all this top end is what we're going to be testing today. Okay, we got the car started. We're going to put a tune on this thing. Going to add all of our mods we put on it. High flow air filter, high flow intake, spark plugs, I gotta wait on the engine to get warm. Okay, it just turned green, so now we're ready to start the tune. So this time we're going to put the sports tuning on it. We took it out of we did have it on the stock, so now we're putting the sport tuning on it, plus all of our intake manifold, the throttle body, cold air intake. This generally takes a few minutes to get done. Okay, the calibration is complete. Okay, now we're ready to go try this thing out. To 60 in 7.4 seconds. Okay, this is going to be a quarter-mile run. See how we do on that. Now in here on the computer, I've got the dyno map on there. Got the dyno graphs on there. Here's this is my stock run right here. That was 258 horsepower. And okay, now you see why I want to get some stock numbers right down here. That gives me a starting point right here. Okay, with the Jacfab Ported intake manifold, 80mm throttle body, we gain 54 horsepower between this line and this line. That's a good starting range. I mean, I'm so glad I got a base point where I know where I'm starting from. Otherwise, I'd be totally in the dark. I wouldn't know exactly how many horsepower was stock. So I'm glad I went ahead and did my pulls before I started doing a lot of. The only thing I had on there was the cold air intake, and I didn't switch it back to stock. I just left it on there because I had too many other mods I made with the nitrous and all that was in the way. But anyway, this is the baseline now, 312 horsepower. Okay, we still haven't even tried nitrous yet. And next we're going to put on the extendulator spacer from Jacfab. We're going to try that next. I imagine once we start playing with nitrous, we're going to be up in we'll probably jump up another notch. See, we jumped up 50 horse. We ought to be up in the 350, 360 area. I got a 50 shot of nitrous on there. So we're gaining on it. It's looking good. I'm quite surprised that the throttle body and the ported intake manifold gained over 50 horse. That's very good. Okay, this screen here shows just the stock numbers right here. This is the horsepower. T265 here. Peak torque is 256. This is your horsepower coming up on this line, and this down here is your torque. Now we'll switch that one off. We'll go to the 312. I did 2 pulls and got 312 both times. And on this pull here, the stock pull, I got 258 and 258 and then 265. So there you have it. Numbers very impressive. The Jacfab ported intake manifold and the 80mm throttle body. And the Rotofab cold air intake. Boost is up almost 50 horsepower, 45 to 50 horsepower. I think all the runs that I've done so far, I could have done better if I was in the ideal situation. Anyway, this thing is so cool. So the numbers was actually better than I expected. So, and if I hadn't had a base number to go by, then I would have had no idea where I was even starting from. So I'm so glad that I did my runs before I started changing a bunch of stuff. It gives me a baseline number to go off of. So we'll get that Jacfab extendulator spacer put in, and we'll do some more runs. And I got my red lock tied in, so I got to get that put together. And that's basically all I'm lacking to try nitrous, is to put red Loctite on them fittings, make sure everything's good and tight, change a few, in the PSN1 I got to change a few. I got to raise my numbers up to 3,000 when the nitrous hits, and the maximum, which should be around 5,700 RPM. So I got to change those two in the PSN1 on the nitrous gauge, and then we should be ready to try some nitrous. So it won't be long now. I think in the next video we're going to put on these letters right here. These black letters. I took some pictures and stuck them on Instagram, and everything's black and red. And what standing out really bad was the chrome letters. Stuck out like a sore thumb. So yeah, we'll get these. These are carbon fiber. We'll get these. You gotta spray the letters down and take some, but we'll get into that later. So we'll do this on the next video. Swap out the front one also. Get everything blacked out. So Thanks for watching.